Three, two, one, and we are live. Welcome to Masterminds, where we have closed door, back door conversations about creativity and money. Yes. So I am now waiting for my co-host Pamela, and let me see. Welcome to our third Mastermind. I'm very excited to have this one. We got something really beautiful in store for you. And here we go. Pamela is here. Let's go. Hi, Pam. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna keep talking until this thing works. Let me see. Go live with me. Okay, so oh, troubleshoot this a little bit. Come on now. Why is this not working today? We're doing a little bit of troubleshooting. Doing this on IG Live, sometimes. Oh, here we go.
Hey guys, wait, hold up. How did you put that filter?
The master of the hour. When I first started the live, it gave me the option. It was like it had a scroll in the bottom. But I'm pretty sure you could use the little happy face with a plus on its forehead.
Hold up. That filter's cool.
The Ash Wednesday smiley face on the corner of your screen.
Well, it's not letting me click on it. Sorry, you can still see my face. I'm still here.
Yes.
Alright, I don't know why it's not letting me click on it. I dropped my phone super hard today, so.
You also dropped it yesterday. I heard it on Kellen's voice notes. We were dying. That was pretty funny.
But I slipped. That's what happened. I
Oh,
slipped.
okay.
Our new dog was a puppy, peed on the floor, and I didn't see the pee. And I was talking to Kellen on the
Oh, she was talking to Kellen on the voice note, and all you hear is the phone just go, "Brrrr," and then she sends a second voice note and goes, "Oh, I just slipped on the dog's pee," and it was just really funny. Pam is currently frozen. This is the kind of stuff that we have to deal with on IG Live, so just have patience with us, everyone. Let's see. Gonna just try. Here we go. There we go. You're back.
There we go. So, not to add this to the podcast, but yeah, today I dropped a really hard recording and it fell like really. The back of the phone is cracked, but the front works.
Okay, that's cool.
The front works. The camera still works. So I think we're good.
All right. Yeah.
I think we're good. It did upset me though. I did do something risky. I put my phone somewhere risky, and it fell the wrong way. Anyways, hey guys.
Hi everybody. Welcome to the Masterminds. I already introduced the podcast while I was waiting, so we're good. Like, Masterminds, backdoor conversations, and
okay.
we're bridging the gaps between creatives and financial freedom.
Yes, we are. And how are you feeling today, Brian?
I'm feeling fantastic. They've been growing pains while we've been ending the year off. I know that you've been feeling it. I've been feeling it. Some people in our group has been feeling it. But it's just that end of the year wrap up, where we're kind of just assessing our yearly progress and then still wanting to push into the next year. Being an entrepreneur, being a creative, being in tune with the seasons, right? Because like if you're in e-commerce, you're in tune with the seasons. If you're in tune with business, you're in tune with the seasons. You're looking at things quarterly. Quarterly is the 4 seasons. So, I would say hold on a second, let me just say hello to a couple people. I would say that being an entrepreneur, being responsible for your business, is being very much aware of seasons, just like a farmer would have, or just like a nomad would have. It's just a new layer to that. So December has been a little hectic, but we've been preparing since October, November. So
Yeah,
what
the
do you
new
think?
year started once the fourth quarter started.
Right.
Once the fourth quarter started, that's it. It was the new year.
Yeah, yeah.
It was prepping for the new year, prepping for 2025. But what has been a little hectic, like evaluating the year, maybe going through the new goals alongside
Oh,
Christmas, everybody
yeah.
kind of chilling, and you're still like,
Yeah, yeah. Definitely the new goals for me. It's definitely the new goals. I just got some new components to my business, and on a personal note, we've been having those conversations about just the way that I need to be growing right now, the things that I need to get out of my comfort zone. It's been very difficult. So,
yeah.
how about you? How's your December been so far?
My December is good. When December started, I didn't really put it didn't feel like December because where I live is hot all year round. I mean, the coldest it gets is 69 degrees in the morning. I mean, when I wake up, I feel chilly, but really it's just my body adapting to like the warm weather here. So 69 degrees feels like, oh my God, I need a sweater. But so it was when December hit, it was difficult for me to feel end of the year vibes, right?
Yeah.
It feels like summer. It feels like summer all year long. And it started hitting for me when I went to my boyfriend's mom's house because she's a Christmas, like she loves Christmas. She's a
Hmm.
Christmas fanatic. So when I saw the Christmas tree and the Christmas decorations, I was like, oh shoot, like we're in December, like it's Christmas. Like this is the end of the year. And of course, everybody on the team talking about, making sure that we game plan for 2025, making sure that we have our car already, running. And that way on January 1st, or most likely January 2nd, because January 1st people are celebrating. On January 2nd, we're not starting the engine. Like our engine is already started. We're already in flow. We're already in momentum. But overall, I feel like my December's been good, right? I am giving myself some time to watch Harry Potter with my boyfriend as like a treat, but after I'm not in chill mode.
Yeah.
Like I'm not in oh, it's the holidays, I'm gonna take 2 weeks off, right? Or something like that. Like I'm definitely not in that mode. I'm definitely in the mode of, I'm in flow. I'm in flow with the business. I'm in flow with what I'm doing, right? The only thing I would say is since I've been back from the convention in Monterrey, which was the first week of November, I haven't really been painting as much because I've been like, oh, I just want to like focus in the next 6 months on my business and really growing this. And so I haven't been painting that much. So I definitely got to make sure I get some painting done once, very soon. And what else? I've been really like focused on crypto, reallocating this month, and also making sure that I reflect on my trading year. I'm creating a whole new trading journal. I'm going through all my trades. I'm making sure I write down my plan step by step. Like everything I need to do in order for 2025 to be up and running. That's really what I'm doing these last few days. And my December's good, right? It's not cold, so I'm
Yeah.
good. Like,
As you can see, the hat changed for me. It's no longer fitted caps.
yeah, it's
I've turned to the
cold over
Scully.
there. It's
It's
cold
a
over
little.
there. There's a
It's a
small
little
part of
cold.
me.
It's a
A
little
small
cold.
part of me misses the cold
Yeah.
weather. Also, talk about what a day. My phone fell. I have clothes drying outside and it just started pouring. So there goes those
Oh
clothes.
my God. Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. But yeah, now that we're on the topic of like goals and stuff like that, how about we go into like, the topic for today, which is goals.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I would like to start off the topic with So when I first met Pam, I've been revamping like the way I've been doing things. For those of you who don't know, I'm having a child I'm expecting a child in February 3rd. So, by January, by July, I was already implementing new systems and things like that. And one thing that me and my partner have been implementing since July has been these 15-day check-ins. And so these 15-day check-ins is a time where, we split the month in half, the 1st and 15th. So on the 1st, we do a check-in. On the 15th, we do a check-in because, months are 30 days long-ish. And we take that time to evaluate our strengths, evaluate where we need improvement, and then setting goals for the, like, little tiny um, uh, goalposts to meet for the next 15 days. And we've been doing that as a way to kind of communicate to ourselves and bring ourselves back on track, knowing that, by the time when we become parents, we need to be way more scheduled. We need to be able to, create pockets where that type of communication is open and allowed, like, hey, babe, you've been doing great at this, but you need improvement at that, and vice versa, and also time for that self-reflection. Yo, I feel like I've been doing great at this. This is what I want to get better at, So then setting those goals and those, being a parent, I can assume that you need to start being able to look ahead in ways that you've never done before. So with that being said, I have a really good YouTube video that after this live, after this podcast, after on YouTube, if you hit me up on Instagram via my DM, I can send you the link to those 15-day assessment and goal setting. So
Oh, that's
with that,
amazing.
yeah, thank you. So with that being said, our topic for today is goal setting. We are in the fourth quarter. We're about to start a whole new calendar, right? And we want to make sure that we're doing the most with our year. We only get a couple years for our lives, especially like this youth, you know, how, like, what people live to be, like, life expectancy is like 80, right? So, some of us are in our 20s, some of us are in our 30s, we want to make sure that we're getting the best out of the years of our youth. So with
Yeah,
that
that's
being
true.
said, like, goals is how you try to get as much of that done. Goals is how you paint the picture of the general direction you want to go.
Yeah, that's true. And when we're not, it's, well, at least for me, when I'm not goal oriented, I tend to slack off,
Mhm.
or using the word "I'll do it tomorrow," or that can wait. So I need to be goal oriented, especially not only as an entrepreneur, but everyone.
As a creative
Everyone, whether you're an
too,
entrepreneur, whether you're working a job, whatever it is, whether you're doing both, whatever it is, being a parent,
an
right,
artist.
being an artist, right, you gotta have goals. Like, if I don't, what I need to do better for 2025 is set painting goals.
Mm.
So I haven't been setting painting goals. I did finish a major painting goal, which was finish 6 paintings in this year. But next year, I want to double that. So after I finished those 6 paintings in the summer, I kind of I didn't make another goal. I didn't make another painting goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to be goal driven. And I want to talk about, like, what are some reasons people are afraid to set goals, or kind of don't, like, they know they have to, but there's this, like, resistance there, right? What would you say is a reason why? Because goals are, the word goals, even some people are like, oh, we're going to talk about goals again, right? So the word goals is everywhere, but what is the resistance behind setting those goals? Why?
Well, I feel like sometimes people who may be resistant or afraid of setting goals, like, well, the first word that pops into my head is afraid of change, or like even afraid of, like, accountability, because the minute that you set those goals, you're now creating an expectation and putting yourself in a matrix of, like, pass or fail. And
Mm-hmm.
school didn't make that feel fun for us, and I understand that, like, that is a real fear, and also the fear of change, right? Like, the minute that you're setting goals, things around you now need to organize themselves towards those goals, and the things that don't fit into that goal box, that FOMO would probably set in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, no, I can't
Mm-hmm.
do that because I got to do this. This is what I want, and it becomes that whole, like, experiment. Whereas, do you want your cake now, or do you want to eat it later? What
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what do you think?
I wanna touch on the point where you said, like, if you the loneliness factor. Let's just break that down,
Yeah.
right? Because if I set a goal that is wake up every day at 6 a.m., but my friend wants to go out on Friday night, but I know that if I go out on Friday night, I'm not going to wake up at 6 a.m. on Saturday, right? So when you're setting goals, when you're setting high expectations for yourself, because really goals are setting high expectations for yourself, right? And you got to really write it down and physically see, like, okay, this is what I'm accomplishing, right? This is what I want to accomplish. When you write that down and you say, okay, like for example, waking up early. Maybe I had a goal 2 summers ago before I moved to Mexico. My goal was I want to wake up at 6 a.m. every day for 90 days. Right. And I'm the type of, I love to sleep in on Saturdays, right? Whatever. I was working a lot. I was working on trading on the side. I was doing YouTube videos. I was in the process of moving. There was a lot. But I made it a thing where every single day I had to wake up at 6 a.m. for 90 days. And I did it, right? I was meditating and falling asleep, but there was it was very lonely as well because it was the summer in New York City, right? New York City doesn't have hot weather all year long. So like people really there's an excuse to enjoy yourself no matter what. Oh, it's Christmas. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's the summer, right? There's always an excuse as to why you shouldn't like do the things you need to do. But I remember it was exactly summer, like June, July, and August, that I set this goal up for myself. And it was because of Nano.
Oh, wow.
I was watching a Mornings with Nano. He mentioned something. I forgot what it was. He said, like, how about you wake up the same time every day for, like, the next 3 months? And I was like, all right, bet. Like, I'm going to do that. And I didn't realize what I set myself up for until, like, a few weeks in where, like, even on Saturday and Sunday, I had to wake up early. And I remember that 4th of July, my best friend was like, let's go out, let's have fun. And I remember being in my room, like, I can't. I can't because if I go, I'm not going to wake up on time. That's lame, like, you're being lame. And it's lonely, right? When you set high expectations for yourself to grow and to change, obviously, number one, the fear of change and also the fear of being lonely. One of the reasons I moved to Mexico in the jungle is because I literally, like, unless I'm with my boyfriend's family or I teach English classes 2 times a week or I go see my friend Adriana, who I used to live with, right, in the animal sanctuary. For those of you guys who have been watching the monkeys on my stories when I used to live there, I'm home. There's nothing to do here except go take jungle walks, go to the ruins, go to the waterfalls, and that's it. Like, go to the supermarket, right? So I set myself up in a place where, okay, friends are not going to call me to go out, so I'm not going to feel guilty for not going out. Right. I literally, like, sometimes I'm like, I don't feel lonely anymore. Or sometimes I get lonely because my day is so packed. I talk to so many people or whatever. But there was a moment where I was like, oh, I did this to myself. like I came here, right? I don't have any friends and now I feel it. But in the long run, this is what I want to accomplish. And I felt like I couldn't do that in New York. So I had to distance myself for a good purpose to achieve the goals I want. To be a 6, 7, figure trader, to be a motivational speaker, to write a book, to work on my paintings and all of these things. And so long answer to, the loneliness factor, but it's a real factor. It's a real factor because you have to start saying no to a lot of the things. Maybe your friends are like, let's watch a movie and smoke a joint all weekend long, right? I love that. That's fun, right?
That's like a good time.
Right? But to spend the whole week, to spend 2 days doing that, I would feel like, oh my God, like I had 2 days.
And then trying to pick up the momentum after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's really where it's at. Where, like, how do I? Because, like, what happens? So this is something I was speaking about just the other day, where I was saying, like, yo, as an entrepreneur, as an artist, nothing gets done, nothing starts getting pushing until you push it and put it in motion. Eventually you automate certain things in your business, but especially in the beginning stages of a lot of things, don't nothing moves unless you're the one moving it at this point. If you really think about it, when you get a job, you get assigned a task to move things for the person that set up that system. But when that person set up that system, at the beginning, they had to push everything. You know what I'm saying? They had to put those things in motions and put those things in place before automating,
Yep.
the creating systems that make it so that they can move away from it. So if you're looking to design a certain lifestyle where you get time freedom, I was talking about time freedom on my story today, because we talk about what kind of freedoms you want. Time freedom, for you to earn that, you're gonna have to sacrifice things up front, and you're gonna have to learn and go through periods of silence, loneliness, emptiness, like kind of removing yourself from the unlearning all the systems that you were taught, especially if these are not things that were passed down to you. You have to spend some alone time to unlearn some of these things, to relearn a set of systems. And I'm sure that that's something that you felt being out in the jungle. Actually, as a matter of fact, getting up and moving to a whole new place where you don't know anybody kind of helps you in that sense, where it's like, yo, I'm gonna have to sink or swim in this loneliness pool, because I'm not connected to the lifestyle anymore. I don't have to take the train. Other people's rhythms and obligations are gone. It's just me and the monkeys, you know,
And
and
the
the
meowing
people that are,
cats
and the
outside.
people there, of course. But
Yeah.
you're still just figuring your way.
Yeah. Majority of the time, I'm home
Yeah,
alone.
you have to empty
Right?
yourself out first before you can apply something new.
Exactly. And I really loved everything that you said, unlearning your old systems, your old habits, and that kind of leads into the other reason why I feel like people have resistance towards setting goals, and it's because they don't believe that they can achieve them,
Hmm.
right? And I was listening to Jim Rohn this morning. I love Jim Rohn. For those of you who are into personal development and you haven't heard of Jim Rohn, you got to listen to him. I
Phenomenal.
know it's kind of like old school. You never listened to him?
I said phenomenal.
Oh, I was about to say, oh
No,
my
no,
God,
no,
Brian.
no. Definitely listen to him. Phenomenal
Totally
speaker.
judging. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. Um, he said something like, if I'm not gonna be able to quote him exactly, but when you have daily consistent wins, that builds self-confidence, and you start trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You start trusting that if you say you're gonna do something, if you set a goal, you believe that you can do it because you can count on yourself, right?
Hmm.
If you say you're going to wake up at a certain time and you never wake up at a certain time, that the rest of your day, I was telling this to one of my students today, because yesterday we were talking about, goal setting and stuff like that for the 2025 game plan. And we went over the training journal, right? Going over our habit tracker and all of that. And one of hers was waking up, right? Waking up, I think, at 5 a.m. I think that was her thing, 5 or 5:30. And she texted me for accountability purposes, like, I didn't wake up. I woke up at 8. And I was like, listen, you got the rest of the day to be intentional. Don't feel bad. Don't feel guilty.
Hmm.
Right? Am I still good? Am
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
I
good. You're
still
good.
good?
It was
Okay.
just 2 seconds.
Okay. Someone called me and so I moved it. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, so a lot of
Yeah, you,
people,
you you were speaking about the intentionality. You have the rest of the day to be intentional, even if
yes,
you woke up at 8 and you didn't meet your 5 o'clock, your 5 a.m. goal.
exactly. Because okay, you didn't meet your goal today, but that doesn't mean that you should be in a bad mood and feel guilty and
As a
right?
matter of fact, you have the entire day to learn how to land the plane by 9 o'clock so that you can wake up
Yeah.
at 5. Now, like
That's man.
if you spend your time worrying about how you didn't meet your goal this time, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to make the adjustments that is going to help you succeed the next attempt, because
Yes.
that's what it is. So, one of my favorite books is Psycho-Cybernetics, and one of the key factors is the learning factor, where you learn by trial and error, and you can't stress out about the failure, because I've said this to you before. A rocket fails its way to the moon.
Yeah.
A rocket, when it's going to the moon, it's constantly correcting course to get there. Like it'll maybe veer off to the right. We got to bring it back to the center. Then it'll go too much to the left. We got to go back to the right, you know? So that's how, and that's a cybernetic process where you use negative feedback, the moments where you're not doing the correct thing, to learn, you know, that's learning till you stop, until you drop the L and you start to earn. I like using that. I like using that phrase. But not like, you know, you use your past failure, and then you move forward and you figure out, where is it that do I need to adjust? Do I need to not eat after 6? Because, you know, when you eat after 6, your body is trying to digest that while you're sleeping, which creates poor sleep. So maybe you ate after 6, and that's why you woke up so terrible. You know, there's different things. Did you exercise? You know, exercising definitely factors in, because maybe you have all this pent up energy, and that's why you haven't, you know, you didn't sleep well. So now, as long as you're not focused when you didn't hit your mark, and you start focusing on actually hitting the mark, what you can do to get the next one right. And then once you get the next one right, you take note of the things that you're doing correct. Because when you start taking note of the things that you're doing correct, your brain starts to create the rewards for that. Like, oh, I'm doing everything right, and you start feeling good. You know, nothing succeeds like success.
Yeah, that's a fact. And going back to like the rocket example, our mentor Alex always says, like, to fail forward, right? That's what it made me think of. Like, don't be with goal setting. I'm here. We either get close to our goal. We we either get close to our goal, we either hit our goal, or we exceed our goal. Either way, we're getting closer and farther than where we started, right? We're making progress. So even if you don't hit your goal, like, the goal is to hit your goal, right? The aim is to hit your goal. But even if you don't, you still got farther. You still made progress, right? So, hey girls, hey, I can see the comments today. I'm happy about that.
That's what's up. I'm
the
glad.
last 2 times I couldn't see the comments. Thank you guys, everyone that's here, right? And, you know, supporting us and holding us accountable too, right? And okay, so something else I wanted to bring up about goal setting is that some people need that accountability. Not even some. I feel like almost everyone, right? It's very, even if you're a lone wolf, having someone else remind you or ask you, hey, how's it going?
Somebody's gonna help you point out your shadow. You know what I'm saying? Your shadow. I was listening to this little live stream on YouTube, and he was his two brothers. One of them is a psychologist, and he's like, somebody had asked him, yo, like, can you identify your own shadow? And he's like, no, it's your shadow for a reason. You can't see it for a reason. You literally need somebody else to point out your shadow, because these are things that you're intentionally hiding from yourself. These are limitations that your inner child is the one that is, like, either scared of it, or, you know, blocking it because it may be causing you some kind of pain. So a mentor or somebody in your circle that you can trust, you know, we're all mentors to one another in many regards, but you know, they're the people that can point out that little shadow where it's like, yo, that you got a shadow right there. I can see it, you know, like, why haven't you done that yet? I'm like, oh,
yeah, why haven't you dealt with that shadow? That's the importance of mentorship, accountability, being a part of community, having a friend that has similar goals as you is so important. It's really so important. Like, remember when we're in high school and we got, like, a science project, like a group project, and we're, like, all doing it together, right? You kind of feel, I don't know, you kind of feel better that, okay, like, if I don't do one part, like, the other person's gonna do the other part, or gonna call me out, or, like, I'm not gonna be like, someone else is gonna edit as well. It's like both of us together, right? Unless you were the person who did all the work and the rest of the team slacked off. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, true teamwork. You know what I mean? Knowing that there is more than one person around you kind of makes you feel, it feels less daunting as well, right? It feels less like, oh, I have to do all this by myself. And it takes away the lonely factor. It takes away the lonely factor of setting high achieving goals, right? Because now you're like, okay, like, I could tell these group of people, I could tell this friend, hey, this is what I'm aiming for, and they're gonna be like, oh wow, like I can't wait to see you do that, or like how do we get there, or having that accountability, having constructive criticism, right, where it's a someone else being like pointing out your shadow. Hey, you always say the word try. I think you should stop saying that, right? As an
Right.
example,
Right,
right?
right. The little
You
slight what's it called? Neural linguistics.
exactly. Right, and that's so true that like you can't always see your shadow, but other people can see it as well. And even when we were when we talked sometime last week, I think, where I have an imposter syndrome, and I was like, I don't even know if I bring value on Instagram. Like
Are
I
you
was
kidding
freaking
me,
out.
man? You're killing it. Well, you're blowing it out the water,
I
man.
was freaking out. I was like, I don't even know if I can do this. Like, what am I doing? Do people even get value, right? And like that was my shadow coming in, and you know trying my shadow
And
trying
it's
to
and it's
self-sabotage.
so funny because the shadow will pop up right when you're doing great. Actually,
Great when you're
it's like
doing great.
like you're doing amazing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I'm being perceived. I'm doing so awesome, and it's just like, ooh, and it's like,
Yeah, right,
but
right.
you gotta keep riding that wave, the highs of what you're doing as well, you know.
Yeah.
And
So
you know, it's the it's a self-image thing. Like I said,
mhm.
Psycho-Cybernetics is my favorite book. Your self-image has an image of yourself that it's comfortable with. Our brains, our bodies are designed for homeostasis. We're designed for comfort. Like we try to find the sweet spot and try to repeat that sweet spot as much as possible. But if you want to grow, you got to go and push that sweet spot a little further than what you're comfortable in, and naturally your fear, your doubt is that regulation. But like, yo, we're getting out of our center. Like we got to bring that thing back. So that's why it gives you that back talk.
Mhm.
You know, it tries to
Yep.
bring you back. It tries to and that happens with your goal setting. That happens with everything that you're doing because it wants to get back to that comfort zone. But what you really got to do is go farther, stay longer. And the longer you is like holding a
Yep.
plank. If you could hold a plank to your new life, you'll be surprised how far down the line you're gonna go holding that plank.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. That's so true. What is this dog doing? Oh my god, my new dog driving me crazy, eating everything.
Oh
I
my
think
god!
she,
And it's
hold
a
on, she
baby too,
has,
so I
yeah, she
suppose.
has something of mine. Hold up.
All right, so I'm gonna just keep talking because I'm a yap then. So while she's gone, another one here of fear of setting goals. Another reason why somebody might be afraid of setting goals is the fear of taking action. And I think we've kind of covered that, but you know, a fear of taking action. Um, you might be afraid of it being ugly. So earlier this week, I posted this amazing reel, and yes, it's amazing reel. I'm tooting my horn. I posted this amazing reel about starting ugly. Start ugly. Give yourself
Yep.
permission for 30 days, for 60 days to just do something you haven't done before, look ugly, and just be like, oh my God, I can't believe this mess I'm making. Like babies make messes when they first start something.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're gonna get started, start ugly and get, and you know, give yourself that room, you know. Fear of taking action is fear of like of it being not to your ideal. But if you stay long enough and you work that process, you're going to start seeing what your ideal is start to take shape. Life and all these things that we want to do with like higher complexities, they start taking shape the way that somebody that carves marble, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to make statues make it. You know, like when you first start carving marbles, it's a big block of, you know, with these straight lines. Then it becomes like these like weird odd shapes until you work it for a long enough time for it to actually look how you want it to look. You know, it's definitely one of those things where you have to hold that picture of perfection in your head of what you want it to look like and just move
Yep.
towards it and allow yourself to learn towards it until you actually
Yep.
become it. Gotta start ugly, you know. All your projects are ugly ducklings. You know what I'm saying? You may get
Yeah,
some
yeah.
beginner's luck, but it ends up getting ugly afterwards too.
Yeah, yeah, and also something that you may think is perfect in the moment, and then you look at it in the future. Maybe you'll say, "This is not as perfect as I thought it was," or "It's better than I thought it was." I've had so many when I was doing the YouTube challenge I had, which is at the same time that I was doing the waking up for 90 days. It
Yeah.
was 1 5 minute YouTube a day, and it was healing with Pam in less than 5 minutes. Like that was the concept that I was doing. And so I used to do that right before I left for work. And there were some days where maybe trading took a little longer or like I needed a nap, right? After waking up so early and on like a 5 10 minute nap, and I'd be like, oh my God, I gotta get this like YouTube video out before I go to work, right? And so I would make something like super fast, and there were a lot of times where I felt like, this is not the best I think I can do. But when I was like watching some of my videos recently, I was like, wow, like I did a great job for like the pressure I put myself in, creating a YouTube video and putting like the intro and actually uploading on YouTube in like 15 minutes. It was like something like I literally put myself in that pressure. And a lot of times we're gonna go back and we're gonna say, like, what I did better than I think I did.
100%. You did phenomenal. You showed it to me over the weekend, and I'm like, yo, this is so good. As a matter of fact, I kind of like, comparison trap. I didn't really compare myself, but I was just like, yo, you blew that out of the water. You make my thing look like Brian Gumble. Like, I was
And
like,
meanwhile, I was like just producing in like 5 minutes, and I didn't even like think
you
of
did an
it to.
amazing
Yo,
job.
I
And
appreciate
then,
that's something I want to get back to too.
and another thing I want to add to that, like this is where you get your public speaking from. Like the fact that we can do these podcasts is because you did that, and you're able to talk in front of people online in front of a camera because you did that. You were preparing for other things later. So
We're
like
preparing.
right, you were preparing. So that's why you want to like just get started, because you don't even know what your destiny is going to put you in and what you've been preparing for. But if you don't prepare for it, you can't be put in position. You have to work it to be put in position, because look at you now,
Exactly.
man. I've seen you host. I've seen you host like webinars, like classes. You're phenomenal in front of the camera. You master this reel thing. The only reason why I'm doing my reels the way that I'm doing
No,
them
your
is
reels are super cool. They're funny, right? You're getting out of your comfort zone. You're being yourself. Who cares if it's perfect, quote
right,
unquote? What is perfect?
right. And it's you inspiring me, because I'm like, yo, Pam is turning it up. I gotta make sure that what I'm
Yeah.
doing is turning up too.
That's the accountability, the being around people that want to grow, right? It's really hard to set goals when
Mm-hmm.
everyone around you is not setting
Right,
goals, right?
right,
It's
right.
really, really difficult. It's really difficult. And that's not to say you can't love your friends, you can't love your family and stuff, but you got to be around people who push each other. Like sometimes like I'm not having the best day, or I don't want to make content. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do any of these things. And I see all my business partners doing their thing, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh, I got to make sure that I got to get it done too, right? It holds me accountable as well, as much as I hold you accountable and everyone else. Like you do the same, right? The team does the same. Us all being together on this game plan really, really helps. So with that said, like I really want to tell everyone on here, like make sure you put yourself within a group of people that are gonna hold you accountable. I know we want to say I can do it myself. I know we want to be a lone wolf or we got this, but if you're around people that really want to push you and see you grow, like actually see you grow, like I'm gonna be on here and actually ask you, how many push-ups can you do right now? Because
me
that was your
push-ups,
goal. Yeah.
pull-ups. You mean pull-ups? Hello, hello. Sorry. So give me a second. I can't hear you yet. Can't hear you. This is the perfect time to exit the conversation in order to avoid the question on how many pull-ups I can do. Ha 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 ha. I'm just kidding. For some reason we're getting a little bit of technical difficulties today. They don't want us to like put out the message, man. They are watching. They're like, yo, Pam is trying to keep them on thing. But to answer the question, oh, hi Pam, welcome back.
Hi, what was the last thing you heard?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I think we should move on to the next segment.
Nah, nah, nah. You don't want to be held accountable. Your goal was to do 50 push-ups by January 1st.
50 pull-ups.
Oh, 50. Why do I keep saying push-ups? I'm sorry. That's not the first time I said that. 50 pull-ups. Where are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
at?
I'm at 15.
That's better than where you started.
100%. I started at 8. So
Oh, so
8 to
you doubled
15.
it.
Yeah. We're doing our thing over here, and that's the point. Like I set that goal. I understand when people told me that it's not possible to do 50, but that's not the point. The point is to get emotionally involved with the goal. If it can move you emotionally, it can move you, and that's the point. I
Yep.
want 50, and I still want 50. I'm gonna get that 50. Will I get it by the end of January? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm gonna get to that 50. 100%.
Exactly. That's the mindset you gotta have. Either you get close, you exceed it, or you hit the goal, right? And so the fact that you are one push up away from doubling, I mean, push up, pull up. The fact that you are one pull up away from doubling your pull ups, that says a lot. I mean, you started at 8, right? That's a 2x,
That's
right?
true.
That's a 2x. Like,
Yeah, that's a hundred
so when
percent
you put
game.
it in that perspective, right? I'm here to let you know, right? Keep going. Like, so what if it doesn't get to 50? Right? Keep going. Who knows? Maybe by January 1st, you can do 17,
17.
18. I don't know, right? 17, 18, maybe, right? And that's really close. That's almost halfway. Um, but yeah, if you definitely everyone on here has to have some sort of accountability partner, some sort of mentorship group, community, friends that have the same goals for sure.
Definitely, definitely. Should we talk about holding a private mastermind where we can ask you, would you want to do that? Where like we maybe
Ah,
take
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
of course.
Pam and I were talking about having a private mastermind on a Zoom call where we maybe take, I don't know, 5 people, and we help them set those goals for the first 90 days.
Yeah.
Like let's just like, hey, where you want to be for the next 90 days. But
Yep.
we'll flesh out the details for that in the next following days. But I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like some people
If you're watching this and you haven't already set your goals for the next 90 days, hit us up, right? Hit us up,
first
me or
five
Brian.
people.
Yeah, yeah, 5 people. If, I'm setting up the Instagram soon. We can also, hit us up on our Instagram, our Mastermind Podcast Instagram. But in the meantime, hit me up, hit Brian up, right? We are looking to help 5 people, right? We're looking to help 5 people set their game plan for 2025. So absolutely, like, we're your accountability partners, right? You just get the Zoom link. The only thing you need is your paper, your pen, and just ready to like get out of your comfort zone, right? Exceed your expectations. But with that said, I know we got a little bit of time left. So unless you have something else you want to say about goal setting and mentorship, we should get into our market watch segment.
Let's get into the market watch. This week has been super exciting. There's a
Woo!
lot,
It's been
of exciting things
saucy.
right now. First of all, the mentors have put out the signal. Crypto is going on sale. We're dipping low. I opened up the Coinbase. We're 10% down on a couple pieces. 10% is a lot. You know what I'm saying? $1,000 is on $1,000. 10% is $100 move. Just kind of like the science of that. But that's not. What you want to do is be close to the fire, because in the fire, when we're talking about these things, you're going to have a better understanding, because what's really, really important is that you have confidence on what you're doing.
Yep.
Somebody telling you to buy or sell something one time is not going to cut it, because the insecurity is going to cook within you, and you're going to either sell it early, sell it when you start to see a little bit of a loss. You need to understand what you're doing. So it's not enough to just, oh, follow this one little thing that I heard. You want to know what's going on, and for that, definitely you want to seek out some help. But crypto is on sale. It's a beautiful celebration. A lot of people have been waiting for those charts to see a breather, because they have been going and going and going for a couple months now.
Yeah, they've been going with like no pullbacks. And why is crypto on sale right now?
Because of FOMC.
Ooh, FOMC. So yesterday, You know, recently I've been really diving deeper into fundamental analysis, where I'm all about I love the technical analysis portion, and I knew that one of my weaknesses in trading was fundamentals. So I was all right, this time I'm going to watch Jerome Powell, right, the chair of the Federal Reserve, speak.
Let's give Jerome Powell his thing. Jerome Powell, the master of the market. Jerome Powell is the master of the market. He speaks, and the
He
market
opens
will.
his mouth.
The minute he opens his mouth, the markets go crazy.
Markets go crazy the minute he opens his mouth. Really.
He's the.
But yeah,
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
He's the Barack Obama of the financial markets.
Literally, like you see, hey, he's gonna speak, the markets are gonna move, right? Up or down, the markets are gonna move. But what's interesting is that so yesterday there was an interest rate cut, right? And usually, with what I'm learning recently, is when the interest rates decrease, right? Usually, what happens is that the markets go up because interest rates decrease, so the markets go up, people want to invest, right?
Interest rates being the amount, how what the Federal Reserve is charging banks to borrow money. So like basically they control the interest rates, is how much does it cost for you to borrow money.
Yep. Exactly. Thank you for clarifying that part. And so usually when the interest rates go down, I mean, think about it. If you have a lower interest rate on your credit card, you're going to want to use it more because you don't have to pay back as much, right? So what was interesting this time is that even though the interest rates cut from 4.75% to between 4.25 and 4.50, right? 50 basis points, the dollar shot up and the stock